Salud, mi gente, your boys coming through once again. And on today's video, we're going to talk about one of American Cholo's co-hosts, right? Mohawk Matt, doing an interview for Cam Capone News, right? And where he's telling his story, man, his prison story. He got some crazy ass prison story. He was in a level 4, 270. And we have seen different inmates, right? Or ex-inmates coming out, doing their interviews, telling their stories and stuff like that. And there's some crazy ass stories, right? But it seems on these stories that most of these individuals were somebody in prison, right? It seems like in prison there's a lot of chiefs, not a lot of Indians, right? But at least Matt clarified that he was nobody in prison. He was just a regular guy who happened to be on the level 4, and he had witnessed a couple crazy things, like a riot, and where individuals went to the control booth, opened some cell doors and stuff like that. Some crazy ass stuff, right? That honestly was very hard to believe, but the story that actually caught my attention, man, it was about this removal that happened on this level 4 270, right? And where two individuals got off on one and basically, like, literally took off his head, you know? So, damn, I mean, when you hear that story, like, hold on, what? Very hard to believe, especially for those individuals being in prison. Come on, man, you already know how everything gets down, right? How everything happens. But let me tell you one thing, though. It has happened in CDCR. It has happened. So before we continue this video, tell you what this individual did and tell you about the story about this incident and where somebody actually lost their head in prison. Do not forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So, as I'm seeing this interview, right, I came across it, I think, like 2 days ago. But I didn't know that it was actually American Cholo's co-host, right? Until I found out, and I was like, oh no, I had to make a video on this for sure. So apparently there was this white crip, right, who went to this level 4, and the whites went over there and talked to the blacks, right? Basically said, hey, you know what? You have to give up this kid or it's going to be all bad. And it happens, man. It happens. As a matter of fact, one of the crazy best incidents I ever seen in prison, it was two whites on a white crip. That's one of the craziest incidents I've seen, man. And the white crip, trust me, he put it down for sure. But it happens, and apparently the blacks were like, you know what? Go ahead, do your thing. We're gonna move over here. It's all you, right? So the following yarda, the whites came out. They had two individuals, two youngsters who didn't have nothing to lose. They were lifers, they were strapped, and they were ready to put it down, right? When this is, I mean, when you go to the yard and you know that this is about to happen, man, you can feel the tension, man. Everybody's trying to play cool as they can, but you can feel the tension. So then you have this white crip, my bad, white crip, going to the black spot. There's no blacks right there, but those two individuals, they're right there, right? Which they start doing what they're supposed to do. They hit this individual, boom, boom, poke him, according to Matt, 1,000 times, right? So when he said 1,000 times, I was like, man, hold on, man. This guy's throwing a gang of salsa on his story, right? With some crema and guacamole, right? And I was like, nah, he's just throwing extras, It is what it is. But then he confirmed that thing, said it twice. He got hit 1,000 times. I don't know how he's gonna figure that out, but he knew, right? 1,000 times. So according to Matt, they hit this individual on the face, on the neck, the body, but most of them was towards the face and the neck, right? To the point in where they were doing it for so long that that individual's head was hanging, right? Then after nobody pressed the alarm, right? Nobody was calling man down, like, get down, motherfucker. Nobody was saying that. They decided to kick the head, and the head came off the body, right? Now they're walking around. They're like, man, is somebody gonna get us, or what's going on right here? There's a lot of blood on the floor, right? They're slipping because there's a lot of blood. I mean, if you have seen blood like that, like, it's all bad, man. I mean, it feels like this water. Like you might think that you know what blood it feels like this thick, but nah, it's like water, like liquidy. And nothing, no alarm. Eventually, far away in a different building, they hear an alarm going off over there, right? So now everybody gets down. They get these individuals, and of course, this is a crime scene. It is a crime scene, right? I mean, I've been in an incident like that where it's a crime scene, but according to Matt, they had to stay right there. They brought them lunches. Uh, they the detectives from the streets came through. The cops, the investigators, they came through. They marked the body and everything. They covered the body. And I was just gonna say, man, that's so. They don't do that, man. They don't do that. Look, let me just break all this story up. There's no way an incident is gonna take that long for somebody to press alarm or tell them to get down. There's no way. Even according to him, he said the main tower, froze. It was a female. She froze. She had the weapon. But there's no way that an incident like that is just gonna slide through. Why? There's different buildings. They have towers. That tower goes to a day room and then goes back to see what's going on the yard. Not only that, you have what is called your yard cops. You know, they're over there sitting in front of the program office in a bench, protected by a fence, chain link fence. You know, if they're not outside, chilling, they're probably in the office, but they can look outside. Simple as that. There's a lot of movement on the yard. Put it that way. There's no way this could go like that. And trust me, ain't nobody gonna press the alarm in a building that's far away. Why? Because all the attention is gonna go to that building. What they're gonna do is they're gonna call on the microphone and say, "Hey, get down, get down." That's what they're not gonna press the alarm. Simple as that. So that there's no way. There's not gonna be an incident that's gonna happen like that. Simple. Now, when he's talking about incident on the yard, it just makes me think that he never experienced an incident like this, right? Because of this. When somebody is hit in a yard, they're not gonna leave that person right there. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna take that person out. You know, they're probably gonna pick up his head. They're gonna take that person out. Go to medical or whatever. That's where it's gonna go. Everybody, of course, is gonna be prone down. If it's a crime scene, you know what? You do stay out there for a long periods of time. The most that look, the most that I know that people have stayed is like what was it in the morning? The incident happened on the morning 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6 hours. 6 hours. Prone out with handcuffs. So nobody's gonna bring you your sack lunch so you can eat. Why? Because your handcuffs behind your back. You know, zip tie. You're gonna have zip ties. You know, once everybody's zip tie, they're gonna pick everybody up, tell them to their buildings. Building 1, building 2, whatever. However the program might be, right? So there's no way that they're gonna be right there until people from the streets go to the yard. Yes, when there's an unaliving in the yard, detectives from the streets go in, but they don't go in right there and then. You know, actually the people that go in at first is gonna be the gang unit, you know, the ISU as well. Two different things, gang unit and ISU. But those are the ones who are gonna do the investigation. Period. You know? And nobody's gonna be waiting, eating your lunch. There's no way you're gonna do that. Simple as that, right? But talking about incident in CDCR, it has happened before and where not this story. This story is fake, right? But it has happened in where an inmate actually took off his celly's head. And this happened in 2019 with Loquito from Bakers. He's the one who actually, and the only one reported that actually took off his celly's head. You know, he put a necklace with his body parts and stuff like that, but he was the only one to do this, right? And of course, he had nothing but time, and nobody was seeing what he was doing. He did what he had to do right there, you know. But for an incident like this to happen on the yard, and actually for this to happen, there's no way, man. If you're stabbing, that thing is not gonna break bones like that. Like, come on, man. Like it is a crazy story. It is a good story, man. I'm not gonna lie. I hope the intention of this story, well, I feel like it was probably just to scare the people out there. Which, okay, I see that you're trying to scare people so they don't go to prison. But come on, that's some way out stuff, man. And I was not gonna do a reaction on this story. Yeah, I seen it, but once I found out it was an individual from American Cholo, I was like, oh, hell no, I have to make a story about this because you already know, man. But with this being said, we are out to next video. And please, man, behave on the streets, man. You don't want to go to a yard like this and where individuals are, they're just being assaulted without nobody pressing the alarm. I heard of incidents. Well, I've seen incidents too, right? And where somebody's hurt and they just left them right there. But to that extreme, no way. That tower is always paying attention. That tower is gonna see if they're gonna let you go get away with that or not. You know, they're always paying attention. Come on, it's not that complicated. All they have to do is just do a 270 look, make sure that everything's good. That's it, man. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Muchas gracias. Saludos.